Greetings and welcome to the Rise Up Mama podcast. My name's Vanessa and I help busy women like you, especially mums, to feel more confident. I do this by showing you simple ways to improve and maintain your health and wellness through positive mindset development. I'll also show you practical ways of making long-lasting changes around your busy lifestyle. One of my clients has said this woman is an inspiration. She's helped me to have more get up and go. If you're tuning in for the first time, then welcome. If you've been a regular listener to this podcast, then welcome back. Thank you so much for the support that you are giving me, and for those of you that have been giving me thumbs up and liking my work and leaving comments, I really appreciate it. Now, just to set the scene, I'm on a challenge that's been set by my online marketing coach, whereby I have to produce an audio recording every day for 1 year. Now, I will say that I've already missed I think it's about 2 weeks. I don't know where the time has gone. So I'm only on day 17, and I'll put the context in shortly as to why I've had such a big gap off. But today's audio is actually talking about how do you focus on eliminating bad habits. And I've chosen this topic because I feel that even though I had a genuine reason where I had to put the audio podcast recordings on a pause, I feel that some bad habits were coming into effect, which slowed me down. So let's just rewind. Back in December 2020, I decided to basically write an idea out that was in my head. It kept popping into my head. 16 weeks later, I had an opportunity to sit on a Zoom call, and on the 10th of April 2021, I delivered the first workshop, which is part of our Discovering You education and empowerment program for women. It was absolutely fantastic. And I just want to say that the journey of co-creating with others has been tremendous. So I'm going to give a shout out to my collaborators, Robert, Denise, Layla, and Susie. Now, when you're trying to achieve your goal, you have to prioritize your time. So that's what I did. And I was aware that it was an intense period. We had the workshop to deliver. There was things that I needed to do. So I put the recording of this series on hold. I didn't want to, but energetically, I just didn't have enough hours or energy in the day to do both things. Now, we're talking about bad habits in tonight's podcast, and in order to succeed with the workshop, I was aware that I had to overcome a bad habit that had been presenting itself a few times when I've been marketing some of my events and other projects. And the habit was really that I wasn't willing to overcome technical challenges. So as the marketing strategy becomes a little bit more, not complex, but let's just say a little bit more evolved, then you are going to get some technical challenges. And I would usually procrastinate and become distracted, just start doing other projects and not really pushing through. But because the workshop was such a big, this is like a major education and empowerment program, I needed to get it right. So I decided that I was going to go all in, and I'm so proud to let you know that I successfully wrote a full email sequence for my autoresponder. Now that sounds a bit technical for those of you that are not really like what's she going on about, but it's basically if you get emails that come into your inbox and they're telling a story and they just kind of appear every day for maybe 4 or 5 days, or even sometimes longer, then that's the writing that I had to be prepared to do. And also there were some technical things I overcame. What I'm basically trying to say is bad habits interrupt your life and they prevent you from accomplishing your goals. So in that example, that was a habit of me just literally procrastinating and becoming distracted, which is quite easy to do. Here are some other examples of bad habits that I have overcome. So I'm just going to share them with you now. So one of them, you may relate to some of them, okay? So one of them was Facebook addiction. And yes, you heard me correctly, being addicted to actually checking Facebook, putting content on Facebook, constantly commenting and liking things on Facebook. It's an addiction. Watching reality television, smoking, eating too much processed food, and watching television straight after work, which includes listening to the news. So what I'm thinking is, if you're wanting to eliminate negative habits, the best way to do it is to replace them with good ones. So I'm just going to share what I've done. So replacement of the Facebook addiction has been to produce more content. So we're talking about the audio here. For those of you that are on my YouTube channel, you'll see that I might not have been doing the podcast, but I was certainly doing interviews. I think I've done a few interviews. It's something else. Oh yeah, I was doing my newsletter as an audio content as well, so producing more content. Watching reality television has been replaced by actually cancelling my TV license last summer. I didn't watch television anyway, but I did like to watch the dramas. So I've put reality television. I should have put soap operas actually. But anyway, television license has been cancelled and now I listen to audio trainings throughout the day. Smoking, which was an addiction that I eliminated many years ago. We're coming up to 5.5 years now, so I'm really proud of myself there because I was actually a teenage smoker. So I'd started smoking when I was young. But that has been replaced by really focusing on my personal nutrition. And I think the appreciation of actually, why am I putting so much good nutrition into my body and then cancelling out with smoking? Why am I doing my exercise and then putting strain on my heart and my lungs with smoking? So I would say the replacement of good ones was almost a mindset thing of thinking about my health needs. Eating too much processed food has been replaced by home cooked meals, but actually enjoying them. And because I do the nutritional coaching, sharing photographs of what I've cooked, the healthy meals that I've cooked with my VIP group, that's really lovely, So I don't want to show processed food. So I just don't, go down that road. And final one, watching TV straight after work, including the news, this isn't, so I'm learning Spanish, that's actually quite a new thing. I would probably, if I was writing this last year, I would have talked about the fact that I was working on my business rather than watching the television. But I just thought I would add learning Spanish during my breaks and when I'm cooking, because it was something where it's quite easy to incorporate learning a new language into your life. So if you're trying to eliminate a negative habit, then maybe think about learning a new language. And I would recommend the app Duolingo, which is really easy for you to use during the day. Now, you do need to identify the roots of the negative habits, and it's either going to be stress or boredom. So you heard me talk before about procrastinating around the marketing task, the technical task. So obviously I was getting really stressed. I was coming into like a new territory in terms of learning new skills, and I just thought, whoa, I'd rather just do something else, but that was obviously holding me back. Now, habits become hard to break because they are deeply wired into our brain, so it's quite repetitive. So you heard me speak about smoking before. That was obviously something that I was just repetitively doing. You heard me speak about Facebook addiction. That is a repetitive action. You could pull out your phone and literally go onto the app without actually thinking about it. Now, for the other examples that I shared with you, I want to talk about the role of the ego. Your ego wants to protect your current identity and doesn't like change. So if you listen to the update that I did at the weekend for my newsletter, I've already explained that there was a gap in me producing content for this audio podcast, and I was wondering if it was my ego, because I was actually becoming consistent. Even though I had missed days, I was becoming consistent. I really enjoyed doing this audio. Yeah. Is there something about my ego that's saying, you're taking on something new? This isn't you. Who are you becoming? We don't like that. You need to stay where you are. So just be aware that sometimes when you're trying to change and you feel like you get so far, but then you get sprung back, almost like an elastic band, going back to where you were originally starting, the role of the ego may be playing its part there. Okay. Now, you may be triggered. So these negative habits may be emotional. So if we talk about drinking or smoking, for example, or nail biting, that can be driven by stress. And at other times, the trigger can simply be situational or environmental. So I definitely recognize, and I what is the word? I empathize with clients that say to me, "Oh, Vanessa, I'm snacking too much in the home." You know, we've all been staying in much more than we are used to. And even for myself, I will admit that yes, it's healthy snacking, but snacking is snacking and we can over snack. Okay, so that's like situational and environmental. So here are some just 5 things that I want to leave you with if you want to focus on eliminating your negative habits. Number 1, identify the habit that you want to change or develop. Yes, that is an obvious thing, but I always say that self-reflection is the beginning of change. So we have to hold our hands up. Number 2, identify your triggers. What is making you reach either, let's take Facebook, for example. What is it that you find yourself just automatically doing? What's triggering? Is it the pings on your phone? Do you actually need to put your phone on mute? Do you need to actually take the app, the Facebook app or something similar off your phone so that you're not actually triggered to just keep going back to that particular platform? Number 3, get support. So support is absolutely fantastic. So if we think about things like the smoking, I've spoken to you about drinking here. We do know that there are support, particularly around drinking. There's definitely support networks out there. If you're wanting to eliminate a habit like smoking, then for me, I actually set it around the birth of my granddaughter and making a declaration within the family that I didn't want my granddaughter to know me as a smoker. And then the family supported me because quite a few members of the family do smoke, but I just asked them to stop offering me cigarettes, okay? Number 4, you can actually reward yourself. So this is great. Just think about something small. Maybe there's an item of clothing that you want, or you've been thinking about a particular gift or a treat. I'm not going to talk about places to go at this moment, but it's the same difference. For everything that you see where you've made progress in actually eliminating the negative habit, just reward yourself accordingly. And finally, be persistent and patient. You are not going to make these changes immediately, okay? You can, like I said, you've got the role of the ego. So even though you feel like you will get so far, you may find that you've gone right back to the beginning. So don't change too much too soon. I've always said that, and you've probably heard others say that as well. Don't think, oh, I'm a smoker, I'm a drinker, and I've got a Facebook addiction. I'm going to basically, as from tomorrow, stop everything. No, it's not going to work. You just literally need to take one thing and see and feel the progress that you are making within that area, and then move on to the next. So just to round this up, I'm in the habit of doing the research for this audio too late at night, and it's not good, okay? I'm trying to focus on my morning routine. I'm also trying to really focus on my evening routine, which includes reading before I go to sleep. And that's been really refreshing. So I've decided that focusing on the morning routine is the best way to go, because then I can finish my work early and start the research for the audio in the afternoon, which would be great, which means that after dinner, the research has already been done and I can do a recording in the early evening. So that's just something that I'm personally going to work on. I'd love to know what you will be working on in terms of the habit that you are eliminating. So I only really want to know about one negative habits. I'm sure that you may have quite a few. In the research that I was doing, I found a list that had over 200 negative habits on there, but just choose one and drop a comment in the comment box wherever you are listening to this below to let me know what you'll be working on. And I would like to invite you for a free trial to my group coaching and accountability circle. It's called My Happiness Habits. So there are actually habits that you can put into your life that will weave happiness into your life. And I'm delighted to be able to let you know that the women who've already come into the accountability club, they are, one thing at a time, but they are seeing progress. They are actually reporting good news stories within the group, and it is just fantastic to see their confidence shining as they actually start to work through and focus on what they want to achieve. So I'm offering you a 1-month free trial in that group. What I'll do is I'll leave a link below wherever you are listening to this. There will be a link for you to actually book in for a clarity call with me. It's a conversation where we actually just talk about what you're wanting to achieve in your life and how the My Happiness Habits group will be able to help you to not only get started, but to stay consistent so you can get the results that you want. Anyway, that's it from me. As usual, I'm going to leave you with my little saying. I've got no idea what I'll be talking to you about tomorrow, but I really want to do the research much earlier on in the day so that I can focus on improving the habit that I'm now working on, which is really making sure that I have a fantastic morning routine and evening routine. Thank you so much for listening in, and I will speak to you very soon. Bye.